6 months. 6 months I left my sewing machine without a project. Not a stitch was sewn. But a flurry of activity from July to December prompted this sewing year in review video. I sat down in July and didn't stop sewing for the rest of the year. Today we're going to look back on 2025, and I'm going to share with you what I made, mended, and crafted in just 6 months' time. Plus, I'm going to share some big goals for 2026 that will shape the direction of this channel. So grab a project or a cup of tea and let's get into it. Here's everything I made in 2025. This is the first and last time that I will ever sew leather on my sewing machine. However, I think this turned out beautifully. It was the first bag that I made on my sewing machine. Again, the last one. And I really like this strip of color through the middle. It was a challenging project just because even though I had the right tools to use for my project, the sewing machine just kind of stuck. And even though I had the right leather foot, it just didn't go through all the way. Speaking of bags, we have this lovely here. This one I absolutely adore. I stitched this all by hand. It turned out really lovely. You can see some of the details here. It just works so well, and I really like wearing it out and about with my crocodile boots. This lemon shirt was one of my absolute favorites. So this is actually a separating invisible zipper in the back. So I didn't want to disturb the pattern of the shirt, and I thought that if I did an invisible zipper through the back, that would give it a nice cohesive look, which I think turned out really well. It is a little on the short side, which is unfortunate. Since it is kind of short, I do have to wear a high-waisted skirt or high-waisted pants with this, but ultimately I'm really pleased with how it looks, and I love the little collar detail. I even did thread loops for the back of the shirt so that the collar stands up on its own. This halter top doesn't look like much on the hanger. It was also a labor of love project. I really enjoyed making these shirts this summer. It's kind of what started my finish from summer into going into fall, and I had a series of 3 shirts on my channel. I think this one turned out pretty well. Again, it's on the short side, but that's because it's from the same pattern series as this one, which is kind of unfortunate because I would love to be able to wear this, but I feel like this one, the blue, is such a perfect color on me, and I feel like it's also really nice for a vacation type wardrobe where I can show my belly off a little more, but more on that later. Speaking of vacation, we have this white cotton gauze that I made. This was a work in progress project that I had laying around in my stash. I did not really care for how this turned out. It's not that cute. It kind of looks like old lady clothes, but it's fine. I think it'll be perfect as a beach cover up. I don't really care for my sewing details on this, but again, I got it to work and it's all finished, so happy days. This is a cute little number. It buttons up in the front. It has this beautiful embroidery that I added onto it. It shows off the bust details, and it has lovely lace straps to it. I'm obsessed with this one. I will say I wish I had done more of the embroidery on the straps itself so that I would just have white straps with this beautiful embroidery here, but it turned out really cute, and it has pockets, which is always a delight. And this was the first project in July that I started. This was what got me back into sewing, and after that, it just took off from there. I love the print of this dress. It is so delightful. It's a Carolina Herrera print, and it just brings me so much delight. This one I didn't really make per se this year, but I fitted it, so I adjusted everything because I made this a couple years ago, actually like the first year into COVID, and it didn't look right. It was really baggy in the bust area, and it didn't fit around my waist, and I just was not happy with it. So I took it all out, or the top anyway. I took it all out. I adjusted everything and then put it back together with the lining, and it turned out lovely. This was a mending project. It was super easy to do. The hem was coming out, and so all I did was I flipped it down another time, and it turned out into the cutest little beach dress. I'm very happy to be able to start wearing this again in the summer, in spring, summer. But yeah, this fabric is really Ravelry. It is a brocade, a cotton brocade. This was another project that I had in my stash for a while. So this was since 2020. This one does not fit very well on me. And frankly, I don't really know if this is totally salvageable, but I did try to fix this. So there were a lot of puckers and issues around here in the back, and so I put the zipper back in this year, and I also redid the insides of this bias binding. It looks a lot better, but before this was all like prick stitched to the shoulders, and I'm not really sure why I did this. You can watch my video for more on that. This dress is not my favorite, but I did finish it this year. So I cut this out in 2020, and I just never had the opportunity to finish it. It's a self-drafted bodice, and I just took a skirt that I already had in my stash and did that. I do like the way this looks. The fabric's not my favorite, and I like the way it looks on the hanger. But on me, it just kind of it pulls everything down, and it just doesn't look quite right. But it is this very sparkly fabric, and I bought this fabric when I was in Boston. So it's a nice little memento to remember everything that I did there. This is what really spurred me into the higher elevated sewing this year. So I wanted a pair of shorts really badly. And I wanted a pair of lace shorts because I thought they would be so cute. Well, let me tell you, this took like 40 hours to make. I did so much hand stitching. And on the inside of these, there's so much hand stitching that's done. I added a special waistband so that it wouldn't pull down on me. I added underlining, inner lining, and I added metal snaps on the sides so that this could all close really seamlessly and you wouldn't be able to see the closure. I think these turned out so cute, and I'm really excited to be able to wear these. I will say I would have ended up giving up on this project had it not been for the fact that I started this YouTube channel. So yay, I finished, but this project was really close to being in my works in progress pile for, the rest of my life. So, and now we come to the winter items. I am obsessed with this vest. It turned out so cute. It's very warm and cuddly. I will say I'm really unhappy with myself because I cut the nap out the wrong way. So the fur is kind of like upside down, but who's going to notice? Me, mostly. But it's very warm. It's very soft. And I love the lining that I used on the inside. It's a really nice vest, and it pulls together quite well. Then I made this bodysuit, which again, not my finest moment in terms of sewing. It looks really cute on, but when I start to bend over, you can see a little too much there. It's a little on the revealing side. It's the perfect color on me though. And I like that I hacked it into a bodysuit for the end. So that was great because this really allows me to tuck it into things and not have to worry about it coming undone. I added these snaps on the bottom, and those snaps just make it nice and secure. The most fiddly part of this is this neckline right here. So I'm trying to figure out a way of maybe salvaging this, and I saw someone wearing a Cezanne. Basically, this is a Cezanne dupe. It's a mood pattern, and you can find the tutorial linked here. But I could use a little bit of elastic and just sew that in, and maybe that would cinch it a bit more. Still brainstorming on how I'm going to fix this, but this one is cute. At least when I wore it, I got compliments on it, so that was cool. Next, we come to this beautiful William Morris fabric that I chose, and I absolutely love a collared shirt, so I decided to do a little bit of gathers in the back, so you can't really see it, but there are gathers here. And I chose these cream colored buttons. I think it looks really elegant. It's one of my favorite things to wear in the fall, winter season. I think it goes great with, a sweater, a leather jacket, whatever. But it turned out really nice, and I'm really proud of the work that I did on this one. This one was an easy project, but I make so many collared shirts that I know this pattern by heart, so it's not a hard one to make for me. This denim jumpsuit was a labor of love. I absolutely adore wearing this. It's so nice. It's so fun. I wore this on my anniversary with my husband. We went out to dinner, and it turned out as cute as a button. I'm really pleased with it. It doesn't look much on the hanger, but it does look really good on me. I will say there was quite a few adjustments that I had to make. It was kind of difficult, and the collar band going down the front wasn't perfectly aligned with the bottom, so I had to chop off a little. You can watch that video here. And anyway, I'm just really pleased with it. I think it looks really cute on. I won't be wearing this very often. It's more of one of those pieces where I would wear it out for date night. Hot off the press are these plaid pants, and I'm very thrilled with these. They turned out so cute. I did a bias cut for the top waistband, and then I tried to match all the plaid as best as I could through the side seams and through the front and the back. The back does not match the front. So the front, you can see the plaid and the crotch, all of that looks great. From the back, you can kind of see and tell that the plaid does not match up. But such is life. I don't really know how I made this mistake. Really happy with the drape of them. They look super cute on. They're wide leg, and they just bring me so much joy. I feel like one of those cute French girls that walks around in Paris and enjoys the city and whatnot when I wear these. So I decided to make them, and I'm really glad that I did. This will go really nice with some of the sweaters that I have in my closet, particularly my cream sweaters. So very exciting. And last but not least, we come to the skirts. So these, I did a video on making all 3 of these skirts, and I'm really proud of these. So they're just A-line skirts. They're super easy to make, but I tried to match all the houndstooth, which is really hard on this one, and the houndstooth on this one. It was hard for this one because the houndstooth is so small, but it turned out really chic. I'm very happy with it, and I love the metallic-ness of this tweed. It shimmers. It's just beautiful to wear, and the inner lining, or the lining rather, is this brown chocolate cotton that I picked up from my local fabric store. Thank goodness we have a local fabric store in my area. Shout out to St. Louis. If you're ever in St. Louis, go to Jackman's Fabrics. They do mostly quilting cottons, but occasionally you can find some good fabric. Then we have this fun, colorful tweed skirt from Mood Fabrics so the fabric is from Mood Fabrics, and I love this one. I also got that cotton lining from Jackman's Fabrics, and it's very colorful on the inside, which brings me joy. So every time I open my skirt, I see a pop of turquoise, which is fun. This goes really well with my burgundy tights. I'm making a turquoise turtleneck this year for this, so it's going to be a cute one to wear. Then we have this red skirt that I made, and I love this one as well. I think the buttons add a really nice detail. I don't care for how flared out it goes. It's a little too A-line like, and the pockets didn't turn out exactly how I wanted them to, and I followed the pattern, so I'm not really sure what's going on there, but maybe it's just a vintage pattern kind of thing. I did use backing buttons for this one, so I elevated my sewing a little bit by adding backing buttons to my regular buttons so that they wouldn't pull off, and so that the shank button would stand out. I tried some new techniques on this one. I underlined it, and then I also added bias binding to the pockets so that it's just a fun little detail. Finally, we come to this blue skirt that I made. I'm not a fan of this one. It doesn't hang well, and there's a kick pleat in the front, so you can just kind of like, when you walk, it opens and closes like this. But the problem with this one is that I chose the wrong lining, in my opinion. So I chose this white, and it's very nice. It's super smooth. It's very soft. I really like how it feels, but it just did not work out right, and it pulls. So I need to take this all out rather and figure out how to fix this one. So, you know, there were quite a bit of sewing fails this year, but ultimately I'm very happy with my closet and how much more I beefed it up. And I'm particularly looking forward to 2026. So 2026 is going to be an exciting year. I have planned out a series for you all called the ABCs of Fashion, where each letter we're going to go through every other week, or I will try and attempt to post a video every other week. It's kind of hard with sewing videos because they can be so long. But anyway, each letter of the alphabet stands for a particular garment or a particular technique within sewing, and it's just the ABCs of fashion. So the next video I post will be A is for applique, and that one's going to be really cool. I'm making something very exciting, and I hope to catch you in the next one. And if you've made it this far, please consider liking and subscribing, as it really helps my channel. I hope you've enjoyed this video,
and I hope you have a fantastic 2026. Side note, what was your favorite project of 2025? Because I had some that were just really spectacular, but I want to hear what yours were.